raspberries at 11.
Yes, thank you.
Nice evening, isn't it?
Yes, I suppose so.
Thought you might be interested. She was found floating in the bay near Center Island an hour ago.
Mm-hmm. Who found her?
Party on a cabin cruiser. They brought her ashore and telephoned the police.
Well, there's nothing here to suggest that she won't make it.
No, except I don't think she wants to.
You know her name?
No. No name tabs on the clothes, nothing in the pockets. It's pretty obvious she had it all figured out.
Is it? Do you know how long she was in the water?
No idea.
It might be brain damage. How long are you going to keep her in that rig?
I don't know, but an hour should see her breathing for herself again.
Well, keep me informed, okay?
Sure.
What made you think she might be here?
I telephoned the police.
Well, can you describe the girl?
She's average height, short blonde hair, her eyes are blue.
This is Father Emmett, Doctor. He may be able to identify the girl. Father Emmett, Dr. Wojeck.
How do you do?
Doctor?
Father, would you come with me, please?
Thank you. name's Nancy Howard. I can give you the address of her husband and family.
Could you give it to the police officer and the reception clerk?
She's dying, isn't she?
She needn't. That's what she wants.
Yes, I know.
We're doing everything we can.
Of course. May I wait with her for a little?
If Dr. Spires agrees. I'll be at the reception desk, Father. I'd like to talk to you.
Can she hear me?
No, she's quite unconscious.
Never mind. Makes no difference. Confiteor Dei Omnipotente. Beata Maria Semper Virgini.
The priest knows her. He'll give you the address.
Good, that'll help a lot.
You know what happened to her?
Not yet. But it might help if we knew how long she was in the water.
No, she was in the water for about 10 or 15 minutes, I'd say.
Well, if she'd fallen off a pleasure boat, they'd have known about it. Called for help.
Not if somebody pushed her.
Is that what you think?
I wouldn't know.
Oh, have you something I could write on, please? Thank you. Her husband's address and address where you can find me.
Thank you, Father.
I won't keep you very long, Father. How did you know she was missing?
Her husband called me. She'd gone out for a walk earlier this evening and he was getting worried.
Well, why you? Why not the police?
And he thought she might be with me. She'd come to me once or twice recently for guidance.
Are they in your parish?
I have no parish at the moment, just an office.
Does she have a problem?
Yes?
Would you like to tell me about it?
I'm not sure that I can. She came to me as a priest.
Well, you may have to. If she dies, there'll have to be an inquest.
Naturally.
I may conduct that inquest. You may be called as a witness.
I understand.
Have you any reason to suppose she was thinking of taking her own life?
I don't even know what happened yet. There's certainly no idea what was in her mind at the time.
Well, she was picked up by a pleasure boat out on the bay. It seems likely that she fell from one of the ferries.
Could have been an accident.
It could, but we have to know.
Why? If she dies, will it matter?
The truth matters, Father. What do you remember about this woman?
Well, if she's the same one, she just didn't seem to be with it. Kind of alone, like.
Excited, scared, or what?
Well, she seemed a little odd, I guess. Just not with it.
Yeah, that's right. She was standing by the rail, and I said, "Good evening," or something, and she said, "Yeah, I guess it is," or something like that.
Yeah. Can you show me where she was standing?
Sure.
After you talked to her here, did you see her again?
No, sir.
Well, did you see her go ashore?
No, I didn't.
Could you fall off this rail by accident?
suicide. Not by accident.
Well, I don't think she did either. Come on, let's go.
Get me Dr. Wojeck.
Yes. Oh, just a minute. Steve!
Yeah?
It's the hospital.
No, I'm not home.
I'd like to, but it sounds urgent.
Wojeck here. Yeah. Well, did she recover consciousness? You've no further information? All right. I'll let you know about the inquest.
What do they want this time? That woman?
Probably suicide.
Well, it's happened before.
No, this one's different, Marty. There's really no material evidence. There's this priest. I think he's trying to cover up.
I can understand that.
Can you?
Mm-hmm. He must abhor suicide. She has children, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Well, he wants to protect them. Have you ever thought about committing suicide?
Have you?
Not recently. But people do try it, you know.
I know, Marty, and a lot of them get away with it, too. Surely to God, Marty, we can... By knowing more about this one, we can help the others. I mean, I don't want to push this... I don't want to have to push this priest around, but I think I'm going to have to.
Can I help you?
I must have got the wrong number.
This is 72.
Yeah, that's right. I'm looking for Father James Emmett.
Father Emmett has an office upstairs.
Is he in?
He's not in his office right now. I could give him a message.
I've got to see him in person. Do you know when he will be in?
All right, Mary. Thank you. She takes very good care of me.
I can see that. Father James Emmett?
Yeah.
This is a subpoena to attend an inquest on the late Mrs. Nancy Howard. I'm the coroner's officer. I wonder if I could talk to you.
By all means.
In private?
Oh, it's very private here. No one will listen to us.
Are you Canadian, Father?
I was born here. My parents were Irish. That's why I went to Maynooth to study for the priesthood. It's in Ireland, you see. You want a curriculum vitae?
Yeah, I guess so.
After Maynooth, Rome. That was dangerous because it tends to make one ambitious. You can understand that?
Sure. What's the office for upstairs?
I edit a church newspaper. Quite a good circulation. But my bishop disapproves. He thinks it's becoming a little too independent.
How did you get to know Nancy Howard?
Well, I run a sort of advice column in the paper. Brings me into personal contact with many people.
With problems?
Yes.
Like suicide?
All kinds of problems. All kinds of people.
What was her problem?
She came to me as a priest. I told Dr. Wojeck that.
The coroner can force you to talk at the inquest.
It's very difficult to make priests talk if they don't want to. All I can tell you is that she was concerned for others, not for herself.
And the boys are no bother at all.
Well, you've been a big help, really. My mother will be in town, I think, sometime tomorrow, so I expect she'll get the house in some kind of order.
All right, well, you have her call me for help anytime at all.
But thank you, Mrs. Robinson. I'll tell her.
Oh, excuse me.
John Howard,
Yes?
I'm Sergeant James at the coroner's office. I wonder if I could have a word with you.
Dr. Spears, now, Mrs. Howard's condition did not appear to be critical when she was admitted. She wasn't asphyxiated. She wasn't at the point of death and drowning. Yet in spite of your very proper procedures, she died 2 hours later. This is not a fact.
Yes, it is.
Can you suggest any reason for this?
Well, I'm a physician, not a psychiatrist, but, well, it seemed to me she just wasn't trying.
What did you put on the death certificate as the cause of death?
Cerebral anoxia.
Roughly translated as brain damage due to lack of oxygen.
Yes.
Thank you, Doctor. So that remark you just made about her not trying is just a guess?
Yes, I admit that. It's just my opinion.
Of course. But I think the jury ought to be quite clear about that.
Thank you, Doctor. I have a few more questions, Mr. Howard.
Yes, sir.
You've given us a picture of a happy family.
Yes, sir.
Did this picture change after your wife's accident?
No, sir.
Didn't she become temperamental, excited, depressed at times?
No, sir. There were just times when she got a bit fussy. I told you, kind of irritated. And then she'd be fine again.
You're on oath, Mr. Howard.
Yes, sir.
Are you sure these occasions weren't worse than you pretend?
No, sir.
Did she at any time indicate that she would ever take her own life?
No, sir. Never.
Not much more, Mr. Howard. Now, on the night of your wife's death, you've told us that she was calm and quiet. She went out for a walk. It was a mild and pleasant evening. You were watching television. The children were the neighbors.
Yes, sir.
When you became alarmed, what did you do?
I don't know. I called Father Emmett.
Why?
She'd been to see him 2 or 3 times.
Do you know what she went to see him about?
Yes, sir. She'd been a Catholic at one time, and she'd begun to slip a bit. It was beginning to worry her.
Well, why Father Emmett? Why not her parish priest?
I don't know. She seemed to be happy with Father Emmett.
Mr. Babin?
Mr. Howard, was your wife in the habit of taking the ferry across to the island?
Yes, sir. She liked to walk by herself, and she seemed to like to go to the island for that.
So the fact that she was on the ferry that night needed no particular significance. No further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. That'll be all. Would you call the next witness, please?
Dr. Irwin, please.
So, your autopsy confirms the opinion given by Dr. Spears as to the cause of death.
Yes, sir.
Aside from his speculation concerning the deceased's mental attitude.
Mental attitudes don't exist on an autopsy table.
No. Thank you.
Now, you know the deceased was involved in a road accident about a year ago. Have you made any special examination with this in mind?
Yes, and I found some evidence of a healed basal fracture of the skull.
Can you say how that would have affected the deceased?
Well, any intracranial lesion may affect the personality or the temperament of the victim.
But in this case?
In this case, the post-mortem appearances were unhelpful.
Thank you.
All right, Doctor, that's all. We'll adjourn for lunch. Resume at 2 o'clock.
Hey, Steve, wait for me. Ah, good morning, huh?
Why are you fighting me, Arnie?
I'm not fighting you, Steve. I just don't like guesswork.
Every time a suggestion of suicide comes up, you try to knock it down.
Nothing's come up yet that wasn't speculation. That's got to be kept in perspective.
That woman tried to kill herself, Arnie, and you know it.
That's beside the point, and you know it. So far, there's not a shred of evidence.
Well, I'm going to get it, Arnie.
You'll start an epidemic of self-destruction. Now, you know that's what happens.
I'm going to start something being done, and that's what's going to happen. For God's sakes, Arnie, there are more suicides in this city than there are car deaths. Nobody hears of them. They're all swept under the rug. Nobody cares. Nobody does anything for the poor devils before they start. And that's what matters.
How are you going to get your evidence, Steve?
The priest.
You think he knows?
He more than knows. He's covering up. Come on.
Father Emmett, so far we've heard nothing to indicate whether or not Mrs. Howard fell in accidentally or was attempting to drown herself. Can you help us?
I doubt it.
I suggest you try, Father. Much depends on you. Mrs. Howard had been consulting you recently, presumably on spiritual problems.
Yes.
Could these have had any bearing on her death?
Well, they were mainly about her relationship with the church. It wasn't an insoluble situation.
You said mainly. Were there other problems?
Yeah, she had other problems, like most of us.
And what were they?
Some were minor, no consequence. One was important.
And what was that?
I'm afraid I can't tell you. She came to me as a priest.
You can be compelled to tell us, Father. Did you know that?
Yes, I know it. But it's an elaborate process, dispensations and so on. And it would be a waste of time.
Do you mean that Mrs. Howard could not have seen suicide as a solution to this problem?
I can see no possible answer to that question, can you? But she was an intelligent, balanced woman with a very sensible view of life. Does that help?
Thank you.
Father, was suicide ever discussed between you and Mrs. Howard?
Once, as a philosophical question.
Philosophical?
It's theological, too. The Bible mentions it 7 times. Though, oddly, it doesn't specifically forbid it.
And after this philosophical question or discussion, what did you do?
Do?
Well, did you contact the police or one of the psychiatric centers?
To tell them what?
That's not the point. This woman now lying dead talked to you about suicide.
I told you it was a philosophical discussion.
Doesn't it occur to you now there might have been something more to it?
What happened may have been an accident.
Or it could have been suicide. And if you had sent her to someone else?
You know what suicide is. You've seen enough of it. A cry for help. But too few people in this city are prepared to listen. Generally, nobody hears them at all. Except God.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Halsbury's Law of England, a law by which this country is governed. It states that if the deceased came by his or her death through the actions or the failure to act of another person, that person must be pointed out. It is the jury's responsibility, and they are duty-bound if they know the persons to say their names. I think in this case, ladies and gentlemen, and in any similar case, the people who have the knowledge of an intended or a suspected suicide, those people have the moral obligation and responsibility to contact immediately the proper authorities. A psychiatrist, a professional.
Look, they gave you a fair enough verdict on the evidence. Accidental death, no blame to anyone.
I'm not finished yet.
Morning, Mary.
Father Emmett.
Hmm?
He's here, in your office.
Who's here?
Dr. Wojeck.
Anything in the paper?
The squid on page 37. You see?
No. No, isn't there?
I hope you don't mind.
Not the least.
I have a few questions to ask you, Father. They're very important to me.
Glad to help if I can.
I think you know Mrs. Howard killed herself.
Do I?
You told Dr. Spirits you knew she didn't want to live.
Oh, that's different. It doesn't follow that she took her life, just that she accepted the opportunity of dying.
Why did she come to you anyway, Father?
She'd been badly frightened.
Can you tell me about it?
You know the area down at the far end of the docks, beyond the turning basin where they're dumping fill?
All that broken concrete.
That's where it happened.
What's wrong? Oh, come, get your breath now. What's happened? You're all right now. Oh, come on, now you're all right. Deep breath. That's it. Come on now. Deep breath. There, that's better. I'll get you some water. Thank you. All right, now, have a drink. What happened? Did someone chase you?
I nearly fell in the water.
Oh, come and sit down. Come on.
I nearly fell in the water.
Oh, come and sit down now. All right, now, come on, come. There we go. That's it. Were you all alone down there?
Yes.
You shouldn't be wandering around alone down there. It's not safe.
I just got scared suddenly. I don't know why. Because nothing happened.
Well, can I help you? Can I take you home?
No. I'll be all right.
I'll get you some coffee.
Could I use your phone?
Yes, over there.
Thank you. Hello, yes. I wonder if I could have an appointment to see the doctor this afternoon. Yes. Well, it's kind of urgent. No. Nancy Howard. Yes, Mrs. Howard. Well, yes, I understand that. But it's a little difficult to say over the telephone exactly. No, well, you see, I'm not at home right now. Oh. Yes, all right. 784-2433. Thank you. Yes. Is the doctor there, please? Well, are you expecting him back today? Well, no, you see, I'm not at home at the moment. Perhaps I could call later. Is this an answering service? Well, thank you. Goodbye.
Can I get you some more coffee?
No, thank you. I'm feeling very much better now.
Do you have some place to go? Look, you go along to this address. We have people there all the time. You go along and talk to them. The sparrow saved from falling rejoiceth the heart of the Lord.
okay physically? Some emotional disturbance, nothing obvious?
You wanted to see one of the psychiatrists?
Yeah. Get her to come back tomorrow morning. She ought to bring a note from her own doctor, though.
Okay.
Dr. Schumann, Mr. Watson.
Mrs. Howard? Could you come back tomorrow and see a specialist?
No. It doesn't matter. I'll be all right.
Are you sure of that?
Oh, I think so. I think that talking about it has helped a bit.
Well, what happened?
It seems so silly. I was walking away at the far end of the docks, and there seemed to be nobody around for miles. I think that was the trouble.
So you got scared?
Yes, but it was because I was alone. I think if there had been other people there, I would have been all right.
Look, you just wait for a moment. I'll see if any of the specialists are still in the building, okay? This is emergency. I'm trying to locate Dr. Gurney or Dr. Allison. Can you help me?
Look, please don't bother. I feel as though I'm making a fuss about nothing.
Okay. Thanks a lot. They think Dr. Gurney's still in this ward. He'll help you straighten this out.
I don't think there's anything to straighten out.
This is emergency. Is Dr. Gurney still there?
Look, I think I just got into a panic.
Okay. Thanks. Anyhow, he left 10 minutes ago.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Where do you live?
Floyd Avenue. It's not far.
Would you like me to call your husband, get him to come and pick you up?
No. He'll still be at work. And there's no need. You've been very kind.
Okay, Mrs. Howard, sleep on it. But if there's still a problem, you come back in the morning.
Yes, I will. And thanks.
You're sure you can make it home?
Yes, I'm quite sure. I'll get the subway. It won't be crowded now.
You're all right. You're going to be fine.
I'll be fine.
All right? Yeah. You'll be fine now.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
Okay. All right.
Scared?
Yes.
That makes two of us. What happened?
I don't know.
You trying to get away from it all or something?
No. I don't know.
I think you need help.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. I do.
I know somebody. I do. Let's go find a telephone.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
There's plenty of time.
Well, I don't think that there is time. I think that I'm going to kill my family.
Don't you like them?
Yes, very much.
Then don't do it. You'll be sorry for it afterwards.
No, it's not like that. It was after I'd had a car accident. Everything seemed to be all right. And then I started getting these moods. I felt so alone that I just wanted to strike out at them. I wanted to hurt them. I don't really remember how I was because I didn't feel very much. But it was worse for them.
How did they take it?
They pretended that it didn't exist. But it's getting worse, and I'm afraid that I'm going to do something terrible.
How long do these moods last?
Oh, not long. A week, perhaps. And then sometimes I'm fine, and we'll be happy.
They still haven't told you what happens?
No. I think we've got into the habit of hoping that it'll just go away. But it's destroying them.
You've seen a doctor, of course.
Oh, yes. Physically, there's nothing wrong with me.
Doesn't anyone else talk to you about it? Friends or neighbors?
No. No, that's the awful thing. I don't do it to anybody else. And they mustn't begin to hate me. That would be horrible for them. Especially for the children. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Are you a Catholic?
I used to be, a long time ago.
And you still are. That may help you for a start.
She needed more than that.
Obviously. But I did think it was beginning to help. That and the talking.
You know, psychiatrists worry most about depressed people when they're improving.
I've heard that.
And you thought you had plenty of time?
I hoped.
Now, what about this philosophical discussion about suicide?
Oh, she'd been reading about the Scott expedition to the South Pole. One of them was sick and couldn't keep up, so one night he walked out into a blizzard and died to give the others a better chance. She wanted to know if that was suicide.
What did you tell her?
Was it suicide?
Technically, yes.
The Eskimos do it all the time, or did.
Do you condone suicide, Father?
Seneca did. Against all the injuries of life, I have the refuge of death, and Nietzsche, the thought of suicide gets one successfully through many a bad night. As a priest, I have to remember St. Augustine, a detestable and damnable wickedness.
What do you think about suicide?
I think about it a good deal. I suppose for certain individuals,
All right for Mrs. Howard. Did she commit suicide?
Of course.
And was it right for her and wrong for others?
It was wrong, of course.
You knew this woman wanted to kill herself.
Yes, I knew.
And you did nothing to stop her.
I could have passed the buck.
To a psychiatrist?
Dr. Wojeck, suppose there had been more people on that ferry boat. Suppose people had been available the day she phoned and went to the hospital. Suppose young Spiros had stopped her from dying that night. Suppose I was a better priest, more capable of answering her doubts and fears. Suppose I wasn't a priest at all.
What are you trying to say, Father?
We all did what we could in the circumstances.
No, you didn't.
Did you do any more with your inquest? If you had proved it was suicide, would your jury have given you any recommendations to deal with the problem of the next Nancy Howard?
Juries and people don't like to think about suicide, Father, before or after the fact.
So they gave her the benefit of the doubt, as I did and as I think you might.
I intend to, Father. The next time you try to handle a suicide case alone, I'll try to get a jail sentence for you.
Well, I prefer to avoid that. But I'm hooked, you see. At any moment, my telephone might ring, and it's very hard to say no.
You ought to be unfrocked.
Perhaps. I'm sure my bishop's thought of it. Fortunately, it's an elaborate business, and we try to steer around it whenever possible.